Teofimo Lopez is fighting Keyshawn Davis next. Now, do we know this for sure? No. But again, reading the tea leaves and a Conspira G from your boy. You know what I'm saying? I got to pick up where Conspira G left off. But um, we'll just take a look, right? So, Teofimo Lopez tweeted this. Just know my next opponent is a black fighter. And I don't even know what that emoji is, but it looks like a roach emoji. Can you see what that emoji is?
I can't really, cause it's like a cricket,
It's a bug. I know
a
that.
grasshopper, something like that.
Grasshopper. All right. And which one? That's for me to know, and for the rest to find out. Hashtag takeover. That's what he tweeted. So just know my next opponent is a black fighter. A bug emoji. Which one? That's for me to know, and for the rest to find out. That's what he tweeted, right? But then Keyshawn Davis posted something to social media that made me feel like maybe his next fight's gonna be Keyshawn Davis. And this is what Keyshawn Davis posted. And you see, he posted this on October 20th. And just let me check the date on. Teofimo Lopez posted that on October 19th. And Keyshawn Davis posted this on October 20th. And so here's what Keyshawn Davis said.
And my back was against the wall. I woke up just in tears today, thinking about life. Don't know how I'm going to get through life. And you know what I did? I just started praying, right? I just started praying like, God, I need you. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. The next hour or so, I get a phone call, and just like that, he changes my life. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy. Thank you, Jesus. Just like that, he just changed my life in one phone call. After I said a prayer, oh my gosh, this is not a coincidence, man. This is real. I want y'all to know God is real. My testimony today, God is real. Pray and talk to him. And my back was against the wall.
So that's what he posted. Now, this is a day after Teofimo Lopez posted that. His next opponent is going to be a black fighter, and that's for him to know, for you to find out. And just to give a quick rundown of some history, they had a situation in the gym where Keyshawn Davis slapped Teofimo Lopez's dad, and he always brought that up. And they've had run-ins with each other where they were jarring at each other, talking about let's fight. So I'll throw it over to you, Complex. What's your reaction to the tweet? And do you think there's some validity to maybe perhaps Keyshawn Davis is next for Teofimo Lopez?
I can see it. I think it's a fight that makes sense. Like you said, there's bad blood between them. Keyshawn is the champion at 135, right? Or was he?
He had a title. I think he may have gotten stripped, though. I'm not
I
sure.
think he got stripped.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Maybe he's moving up to 140. And Tio's kind of the guy at 140. So, okay, that's a good fight. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at it. I think it's a good fight. And, I'd like to see it. One thing about me that rubs me the wrong way is just Tio. Tio is just a weirdo, man. Like, this dude always going off about black fighters. And I just know what this dude's problem is. Like, what his thing is against black people or whatever. And like, in another video, we were joking about race or whatever. And like, there's always race within boxing. Boxing kind of reaches us at our core. And, unfortunately, racism is a thing that's like the lowest hanging fruit. When you see somebody, you judge them based on the color of their skin. But Tio, like, brings up black fighters like somebody stole his girlfriend or something. Like, the way this dude, he just ran, like, especially this guy who grew up in New York, trained in Brooklyn, right? Grew up in New York. You mean to tell me like him and what's his face? Paulie both bother me because I know for a fact y'all grew up in boxing gyms in New York City where there was tons of black fighters and there was black coaches and people who probably did right by you in the sport who were black. And now every chance you get, you're trying to talk shit about black fighters or black people or whatever. What did he say last time? Oh, if they want to go after the blacks or whatever, like, bro, what is up with you? Like, he brings it to a level that is just uncomfortable for me, which I don't like. Like, the reason why I had to bring it up, like, in this context, I didn't like it. Like, oh, my next fight is black. Like, okay. Right? Like, I don't know. Like, black American, black African, black UK. What are we talking about here? And what does it even matter? He didn't even provide it in a way that made really sense in any kind of way. He just brought it out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what, racists just have to slide something in. It's like, we're not even talking about that right now, bro. We're not even talking about that right now. But you got to slide this in. I just don't like it. That's what honestly bothered me, the whole thing. Tio is just a weirdo for that. Because the way he always talks about it is really weird, and I think it's a shame, especially when I know for a fact he probably had black coaches and black people in his life in boxing. And then also you talk about a sport like boxing where some of the biggest stars, the people who paved the way for all the new stars today, were black, and then people want to come in with like this racial stuff in a negative way. You know what I mean? Not in like a fun like, oh, whatever way. Like, it just the way there's a thin line and he crosses it to me, right? It's like you don't know when you see it, but you could feel it. It's like, yeah, when he says it, there's a little bit of animosity there. So shout out to Keyshawn though. It looked like he needed the fight, or he really needed a way or whatever. And hopefully this is a fight, and that's a major win because he wins that. Now he's a 2-weight world champion. So shout out to Keyshawn. I'd be interested to see the fight, but Tio, lay off the racial shit, brother. Like, just keep it boxing. Like, you're a champion. You're a well-respected champion. You've done a lot in the sport. I don't know what your beef is or whatever, but it's unnecessary. And I don't think it's a good look. And I think, like you said, it's a little bit of rage bait too. I think this dude always brings up black people when he needs to, like, gain some attention, and that's like kind of a weird, But I don't like it. I don't like it. So cut it out.
First, I'll deal with the boxing. I do recall them having their situations. I don't know if you remember too. There was that moment where Tio had made that comment, saying like, whichever monkey wants to get the banana, and then someone sent Keyshawn Davis bananas to his hotel room, and then you saw Tio posted a video of him eating a banana, saying he was the one who did it, but then he denied doing it and said he just made the video for content. And he got pressed by Najee from Cigar Talk about it, and several other people, and he said, this is just boxing, this is just promotion. There is history with Keyshawn Davis and Teofimo Lopez, and that's why I'm bringing that up, to point it out. Keyshawn slapped his dad in the gym. There's that situation. So there is enough there, I think, to sell bad blood for these two and to sell a fight. Now to get to the rage baiting that Teofimo Lopez does. In my experience and just my observation, the fastest way to gain popularity on social media is to say negative things about black people, and specifically black Americans. You can say negative things about black people, it'll gain you popularity. But if you disrespect black Americans, you gain even more popularity, because it seems like everybody loves piling on black Americans. But like, that's fine, because at the end of the day, you do it at your own risk. When you say certain things on social media and people see it, it can come back to bite you. And that works in numerous ways. Most recently, it worked in an opposite way. But I don't want to get into that. But the point that I'm making is boxing is a sport that has been built on race and race baiting. I'll give you some examples. Bernard Hopkins, before the Joe Calzaghe fight, said, I'll never lose to a white boy. A lot of people got really upset about that. And of course, that made them dislike Bernard Hopkins, and they tune in because they want to see Calzaghe beat him, and Calzaghe did beat him. If you ask Bernard Hopkins, I'm sure he was just trying to sell tickets. And if you ask Calzaghe, I'm sure he'll tell you the same thing. He didn't take it to heart. He knew, and this is the same Bernard Hopkins who took the Puerto Rican flag.
Yeah, I was gonna bring it. Yeah,
when he was fighting Felix Trinidad.
That's it. Rush him out of the building.
Yeah. If you ask Bernard Hopkins, does he dislike Puerto Ricans or whatever? No, he was just trying to sell the fight, and he did something in the moment that he felt was going to get more eyes onto the sport, right? I'm not a big fan of that, but it is what people do. Teofimo Lopez said Puerto Rican fighters are easy. He said it's so easy to beat Puerto Rican fighters. and then he didn't fight. Well, he actually lost to a Puerto Rican fighter. To me, I believe that Jermaine Ortiz beat him, and he was lucky to get the decision to Jermaine Ortiz. But there's Subriel Matias who wants to fight him, and he hasn't fought Subriel Matias. My only issue with Teofimo Lopez, if you want to say this stuff, back it up. If you want to say that Puerto Rican fighters are easy, fight a good Puerto Rican fighter. Fight Subriel, fight Xander Zayas, fight one of them, and then prove that they're easy to beat. Because you didn't look too good against Jermaine Ortiz. And if you're going to talk all that trash about fighting black fighters, fight one and beat them. And not, what's his name, that he beat to win the IBF. I can't remember his name.
Or Richard Comey, the Ghanaian fighter.
Yeah.
Richard Comey. Yeah.
Yeah, Richard Comey. All right. That was a long time ago. You weren't talking like that when you fought Richard Comey. But now you're talking. So fight Keyshawn, fight Richardson Hitchens, fight Shakur. He won't. I'm telling you right now, all these dudes talk trash to Shakur, but they don't want to fight him. It's funny to me.
Shakur pulls up on him and he don't say nothing. He don't got none of this smoke. He was, you know what's funny? He was at the goddamn Terrence Crawford press conference and all that. He didn't say none of that black shit at that time. He was not. He know what had happened. He would have got stomped the fuck out if he.
Here's what's funny. Shakur gives him the opportunity to get a twofer.
Right.
You can be a black fighter and a Puerto Rican fighter. You fight Shakur. Why don't you go fight him? So this is my only issue with it. And I would be saying the same thing if it was a fighter saying, "Oh, Honduran fighters are easy to beat." Then fight Teo then, especially if you're in the same weight class. Since you talking so much, so to me, there's only so much talking you can do before I want to see you back it up, right? And the reality is, I really want to see Teofimo Lopez fight Shakur because Shakur wants him. And Shakur saying, I can beat you and I want to fight you. And he's not looking like he wants to fight Shakur. He said, oh, it's going to happen. But then I also saw Richardson Hitchens in front of him saying, I can beat you and I want to fight you. And you don't want to fight Hitch either. So you looking to fight Keyshawn. And we all know Keyshawn's been inactive. We all know the situation with Keyshawn. We all know DB3 embarrassed himself the last time they were headlining that card. DB3 got bodied by a singing dude. No, but the point I'm making is like, if you're going to be doing all this talking, at least attempt to back it up. And with Teo, it's like you're doing all this talking, you're doing all this rage baiting, and you're not even backing it up. So now you want to make the announcement that you're going to be fighting a black fighter. And if it's anyone other than Shakur, Richardson Hitchens, or Keyshawn Davis, I'm going to start to look at Teo like a punk. Because you talk trash about Puerto Ricans, you're not fighting one. You talk trash about black fighters, and then you pick one who's not elite. So my thing is like, how can anyone take you serious? But to be honest with you, the rage baiting stuff has been happening for a long time. The way I see rage baiting is if you don't pay my bills, if you don't have the authority to promote me, demote me, if you're not a potential employer of mine, I don't care what you say. You have no authority over my life. You don't control anything. I see disrespectful things that go both ways. Like, I was just talking about it. I see on the internet disrespectful comments from Black Americans about Africans. I see disrespectful comments from Africans about Black Americans. I see all this stuff, and I just think this is all dumbness. Like, this is a certain level to me where it's like, it's not even worth it for me to feel anything. I just feel bad for the people who feel like this is productive. Like, I just feel bad for that. But I don't sit around and be like, I can't even find it in me to respond. Like when Teo wrote that, I can't find it in me to respond to it because it's just like, I've been seeing it in boxing. At least I respect Bernard Hopkins for this. He said, I'll never lose to a white boy, but he fought white boys.
He went in there. He said it. He went in there. He said
He
it.
gave him an
This is the
opportunity.
thing. I don't see Tio popping that shit like in a time when it's like, okay, this, like you said, sign to fight Shakur. Say the same shit about the blacks and the whatever that you want to, because even just the way he says, like he says something like, "Oh, Top Rank is going behind. If they want to put their money behind the blacks, let them." It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, like, where are you getting off talking like this about a group of people this way? You know what I mean? It's just very weird. You know, if this was in the build up to a fight, that would be a brave thing, and I might even respect him a little bit if he says that shit. In the, like, you stand on 10 toes down in the with the weigh in or whatever, and you say, "I'm gonna never let a black boy beat me. I never let a whatever," and you go in there and win, I might actually respect you. But you just be popping this shit on Twitter and on interviews and whatever. But when you're in front of actual real black fighters, you don't say none of that shit. You don't say any of that. It's all cool and buddy buddy and whatever. You know what I mean? And that's lame to me, right? If you really about it, be about it. When it's time to throw fists, you say that shit then. Don't say it, whenever you're just trying to get a rile out of people, right? Because that's not what, Bernard Hopkins never did. He did that in the lead up to a fight at a press conference or something where there's an actual guy he's about to fight. You're not doing that just like off on a random Twitter rant or whatever, or you going off because you're mad about your deal or somebody else's deal or whatever. Or, you know what I'm saying? Just weirdo shit. I don't know. I hate that stuff. I don't know.
I have a different level of respect for you if you're talking trash, but you're about to fight the person.
Right.
Like even Tyson Fury made like his comments about Usyk, and he said something about like, he won't let a Ukrainian beat him or whatever. But he was about to fight Usyk. So to me, you can understand either he's trying to play some psychological warfare or he's trying to sell tickets. But you keep saying this and you're not fighting anyone. You're talking about groups of people and you're not fighting them. So to me, like, that's a problem. And for me, I'll just close by saying this. I think of like my favorite fighters in the sport. I never heard him disrespect anyone's culture. Like, you look at Floyd Mayweather, he fought a lot of Mexicans, but he always showed love to the Mexican culture. He always showed love to the Mexican fighters. You look at even Terrence Bud Crawford, he's fighting Canelo, but he never disrespect the Mexican culture. He paid homage to the Mexican culture when he came out to the ring. Like those who appreciate the sport of boxing, you understand what it takes to put on mega fights. You understand and you appreciate the differences that make this sport. And I feel like, when you resort to that type of tactic, it's usually because you're not a superstar who can sell tickets outright. So you need some type of tactic or rage bait or something to sell your ticket, because those who can just sell don't need to immediately go to that disrespecting people's cultures or race. But when it comes to Tio, I just think he's trying to rage bait, and I think he's trying to gain popularity and sell tickets. My thing is, do it when you got a fight lined up against someone of that culture, that race, because then you're going to have to back it up. You're just doing it with no fight. And that's what's making you look bad, because no one can be like, oh, well, he's promoting this fight. It's like, do you really believe this stuff? Like, but in the end, I don't really care about Tio's opinion on life and people and race. I just want to see him. I think he's a talented fighter. I think he's a good fighter, but I do think that, he could lose to Shakur Stevenson. He can lose to Richardson Hitchens. He can lose to Keyshawn Davis. And I just want to see him fight. If he beats him, I'll give him his props, regardless of what he's saying in the ring is what matters. I try to stay out of the rage bait business because, like I tell you, I see it online everywhere. All races, all countries, all whatever, everyone. It's the fastest way to get engagement, but just because it's the fastest way to get engagement doesn't mean it's the best way to get engagement. That's my take on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, let us know what you think in the comment section. Do you think Teofimo Lopez is going to fight Keyshawn Davis next? If not, who's the black fighter that you think Teofimo Lopez is
so lame? That's just so lame. I hate that.
when he says he's going to fight somebody. Let us know in the comment section. We appreciate you rocking with us. This is Corner to Corner, Caden vs. Complex. We out. Peace.